It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Deck the halls with boughs of holly.
It's First Friday.
'Tis a season to be jolly.
It's First Friday.
It's First Friday.
It's First Friday. All right, that was our Christmas jingle.
Christmas jingle didn't mess up.
Might have noticed it wasn't the normal jingle because...
It was not normal jingle.
And why didn't we do a normal jingle?
Because today's the first day, first Sunday of Advent.
Yes! Best season of the year. We're going to explain why.
Favorite liturgical season.
And this episode, we're going to wrap it up. With some advantageous...
Advent-ations.
Okay, so we're going to explain that in a second. Brother Andrew and I both just went for a jog.
That's
on
right.
Sunday morning. It's great to do.
Yeah, lungs are pumping.
Mass, breakfast, and then a little jog.
A run, yeah.
We go through like ancient Rome's parks and...
Yeah.
We
It was
finished
a beautiful
at St.
day. It
Peter's.
was a beautiful day today.
Did you go to St. Peter's?
No, I stayed in a park.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Pompeii.
Yeah, exactly.
So getting back from that, I don't know. Did you notice the sheep in the back of our house?
I heard them. I saw them. I saw them on the hill. Yeah, behind the house.
Yeah, exactly. So
were there a lot of them or?
They're hidden in the bushes, kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
I did one of those, and like 10 of them looked at me. I think they actually thought it was a sheep. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Since we're called to be shepherds.
That's right. You gotta know the sheep.
And it's pretty cool. They say that a sheep knows the voice of the shepherd. So
really?
like if anyone else tries to call a sheep besides the person who they know as their shepherd,
yeah,
they'll ignore him.
But would you want to smell like the sheep, Brother Luke?
Well,
that's what Pope Francis says.
Yeah, and so if you're Catholic, then yes.
You have to smell like the
sheep. And I'm Catholic,
So did you go up and like rub your body against the wool?
No, actually, I had a podcast to
record.
To record. So.
That's right. Didn't have time.
But so we're really excited about this Advent, and just recently I was able to go with a group of brothers, and to kickstart our Advent, although it was before Advent, we had Mass in the former bedroom of St. Ignatius of Loyola, founder of the Jesuits.
Wow, was that? So that was at the Church of the Jesu?
Jesu, yeah. Okay. So right next to the Church of Jesu, they have the stanze, the rooms of St. Ignatius.
Okay.
It's sort of a museum now, but you can go into what was his bedroom, where he would have written the constitutions of the Jesuits.
So like they're like it's like their rule of life.
Yeah,
right.
So all the things that Jesuit does and doesn't do in order to grow in holiness and live their mission. And
that's so cool. I've never been there. What was it like?
Well, the room itself is very simple. I guess the like wooden beams across the top, white walls. But it's now a small chapel. So they have the altar now. They have the tabernacle. In the room, there's a couple paintings of Saint Ignatius. But just to be there in that room, I sensed a real I don't know, just like a motivation to really go deeper in my prayer. So that Mass was beautiful for me because I'm part of this prayer group we just started a couple weeks ago. That we're following this 40-week program. The book's actually called 40 Weeks.
Wow, that's a long time.
It's 40 weeks, almost a whole year.
Almost a year, yeah.
And each week is not necessarily, it's kind of like spiritual exercises. So if you haven't seen our episode on the 30-day date.
30-day date.
To understand what a week means for St. Ignatius is not necessarily 7 days.
Right.
It could be more.
It's 30 days.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. The week itself is
Yeah, because those 4 weeks, 30 days, but you can switch things around. So this book, similar theme, but it takes different topics, and what it tries to lead you to is to become better at discerning in your life. So
which is a huge theme in Ignatius's life. Yeah, right.
It's huge.
Discernment.
What I've really gotten from it so far, we're only in week 4 now. But what I've gotten from it is. So St. Ignatius, for example, he has this huge conversion, as most of us know. He was a soldier, wanted glory for himself. In the battle, he gets hurt, and then during his time of recuperating, he starts reading saint books. Conversion happens. That's a real long story short, right? Yeah. But then he becomes this super gung-ho Catholic. Like, I'm gonna be the best Catholic ever, the saintliest saint ever. Which can happen, and it's a great thing. Yeah. But there's a danger. Yeah. And that danger is that it becomes all about you, and you become a saint.
Yeah,
and you
pride.
Exactly, it's a pride.
It's always pride, man.
Yeah. And
pride before the fall.
So, if you notice that, if you know how to discern, which St. Ignatius in this book tries to teach you how to do that, you can unmask those lies. And so, one of his things that, like, he had this moment of, right? Yeah. This moment, or
a light bulb.
Light bulb being. So he went to confession to get like his everything off his chest.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, he felt like, no, I have to repeat those. I have to go back to confession and say the sins again.
Yeah.
And he has to go back again and again and again. And he notices this pattern.
Yeah, like he's being scrupulous. Like
exactly.
He's like, was I forgiven?
Yeah. And
I used to feel that way with confession. Like, oh, like, am I totally clean? And like, yes, of course.
Yeah.
It obliterates your sin.
Yeah, and it's an example of faith.
Yeah.
Or it is faith.
To
believe, okay, well, if Christ says, through the priest, I absolve you from sins, then you don't have to repeat them. You don't have to. You can say, okay, he forgives me.
Yeah.
So we need to forgive ourselves. And in doing that, he realized, okay, this pattern is not leading me towards God. It's actually leading me just to think about myself. Focus on myself. And so by realizing that, he realized, okay, well, that's not coming from God. So who's it coming from? It's coming from these other spirits, these other negative forces around me, the devil and his demons and
ourselves.
And it gave him freedom.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved. So I don't know. This 40 weeks has been really
good,
fantastic for me.
That's cool that you got to go to his like bedroom area, because a month or so ago you were in Manresa in Spain.
Yes.
Where he was inspired to develop the spiritual exercises.
The spiritual exercises, yeah. And it was just a cave, and that was sort of during this whole conversion process that he was really hard on himself. Like he would fast, almost to the point of dying. He would whip himself, like give himself lashes, like in remorse for his sins.
Right.
But yeah, so being here in these holy places, super inspired by St. Ignatius and the Jesuit spirituality, and I think it can help the world.
They've given so much. They've given so much to the church.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's been good. And how's everything? You just mentioned your cousin.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I have a relative. He's like an uncle. He's my dad's cousin. So if you're one of your parents' cousins, is your first cousin once removed. In English.
There you go.
So
I always get those things.
But I never call him, hey, first cousin once removed. How's it going? He's like an uncle, because we would see him at Christmas time, and he's kind of a big guy, and so he would always dress up jolly. You could say, yeah. He always dress up as Santa Claus. So he's a priest, and he would always dress up as, we'd always go to his rectory, and he would dress up as Santa Claus, and he would give the gifts, and out to our family. We would meet. He would celebrate the Mass, the Christmas Vigil Mass, and then we'd all meet in the rectory afterwards. And that was a lot of fun. Christmas Eve every year. And he's coming to Rome next week. Actually, 2 years ago, he was named a bishop by Pope Francis. So he works in the Archdiocese of Detroit. He's an auxiliary bishop, so he's a helping bishop to the Archbishop of Detroit. And he's coming to Rome next week because he's going to meet with the Pope.
When you tell people you have an uncle who's a bishop, what's like? Is there like a question you always get? Like, I don't know.
Well, I don't.
Or you don't go around.
I don't tell. I mean, like.
Hi, I'm Brother Andrew, and my uncle's a bishop.
Can you imagine? Like as if I derived the importance of myself by the fact of who my relatives are. No, it just happened, and like I don't know.
I was thinking like the twin. Like if you have a twin.
Yeah.
I think everyone always wants to ask, like, can you read their mind?
Exactly.
I don't know if you have an uncle who's a bishop, or there's.
Yeah, I don't know. He's Father Bob, Bishop Bob.
Yeah.
He's a normal guy, and he's
okay, that's awesome.
But he's coming next week because all of the bishops in the U.S. right now are taking turns coming to Rome, region by region, from the northeast to all the way to the southwest, little by little, meeting with the Pope. So every 5 or so years, all the bishops in each country come to Rome to
ad limina.
It's called ad limina, which is on the threshold. It means on the threshold in Latin. So it's like on the threshold of the apostles. So it's like coming to the doorstep of the successors of the apostles in Rome.
Okay.
So it's like crossing the threshold, because it's like you're going through the door to where the apostles started their ministry.
I didn't know that.
And that's where Peter is buried, right? Under the main altar in St. Peter's. So they're going to meet with the successor of St. Peter, with Pope Francis. So yeah, I'm really excited. He's coming next week, and
are you going to see him at all?
And yeah, we have to. Yeah, we'll have to figure out what to do. But he's coming. He's arriving on Sunday next week, December 8th, Immaculate Conception. And I'll have to say, hey, when you meet with Holy Father, just tell him, yeah, my nephew's doing the TGIFF,
Oh, I'm sure he's heard of it.
I'm sure that Pope Francis has already heard of it, right? Yeah, he's probably already,
He's a big fan, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. But, so yeah, I'll have to. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun to meet him next week, and I'll be excited to hear what it's like to meet with the Pope, and I'm really happy that it's the first time that all the bishops in the U.S. are meeting with Pope Francis. First time, and for anybody who's remotely attentive to newspapers and Catholic media in the U.S., there's this huge idea that people in the U.S. or the bishop in the U.S. they're all opposed to Pope Francis, right? And because Pope Francis, being from Latin America, he doesn't respond to a cultural need that we're sensitive to in the U.S., which is clarity, right? Mm-hmm. Clarity, clear things. That is not one of Pope Francis's. It's not part of his personality.
Yeah. Those are maybe not part of his approach to his pastoral approach, or however you like to say it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily he lacks this, but it's almost I sometimes see it, and I could be wrong, but as his way of, I don't know, leaving the discussion more talking about discernment. He's judging it.
Yeah.
They're okay, well, I'm not, as Pope, going to try to tell everyone in the different parts of the world in extremely different cultures.
Keep things black and white.
Yeah, it's black and white. This is what you need to do. This is what you can't do.
Right. Yeah. And I think he's maybe a collateral effect of that approach is struggle for those of us who are used to clarity, etc. So that's a collateral effect.
Yes.
That is definitely, I think it's criticizable, both in its good aspects and its bad aspects. But I think that his approach is to reach out to people who are they're always used to the church saying this, and no, or they think that that's the way the church operates. Obviously, we know that's not how the church operates, but they think that's their perception. And so his change in style is to reach out to people who haven't experienced the church in a healthier way. And I think, at least I've met people who say, yeah, Pope Francis has really touched me in a way, people who've maybe been away from the church. So I think that's good. So anyways, but bringing it back to the bishops meeting with him, I'm really happy they get to meet him. And I also read that Pope Francis, when he meets with bishops of countries, because he does it all the time, he always gives them an hour and a half or 2 hour period in his daily schedule, for, all gathered together just to questions and answers.
Wow.
So I'm really happy that they all get to come with the Pope, and hopefully they can talk about issues that are why do people think that we're two different opposing forces, how can we work together? So I think it's really helpful that they get to meet together. I hope I would love to be a fly on the wall in those.
It makes me think too what a beautiful thing that there's a personal approach, because I think the Pope can't be, he's supposed to be a father, the Holy Father we call him, a shepherd of the church. You can't be a shepherd from way off. You're talking about these sheep at the beginning. Yeah. You know the voice of their shepherd. Why? Because he's close to them.
Right.
And so this ad limina makes it possible to have a personal approach with the instrument of Christ on this earth who's supposed to be guiding us as a shepherd.
Yeah.
The personal approach is something that we as legionaries also, Kingdom Christi members, we
one-on-one.
Yeah, we put a lot of emphasis on that, because that's also it's a more effective way. Maybe you can have a retreat or give a talk to thousands of people. Yeah. But maybe it doesn't have that same
exactly the personal approach.
Maybe you can go deeper when there's less people. When in that personal, you're able to ask questions that you have on your heart, where if it's a huge group, maybe you never get that chance to even open up.
Right, exactly. So, and that's just yesterday we had our retreat for Upper Room.
Upper Room.
Just yesterday, that's right. The pasto that you were involved in, Brother Luke.
And I love it, and I'm a huge fan and supporter.
We feel so rejected.
That was a discernment, speaking of discernment, that I had to do at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy to see that's going well. How was the retreat yesterday?
It was really good. It was great. Well, so Brother Luke you weren't in it with us last year, right?
Yeah.
But you had to switch to, you're helping out at a parish now. Yesterday we had our Advent retreat. Which was the Feast of St. Andrew. Woo-hoo. That's right. And we had it was in the afternoon. And what you were saying about numbers, I was, we were hoping that, there'd be a lot of people, maybe 15, 20. But in the end, there were 6 or 7. I forget. 6 or 7. and then
Good.
several legionaries and a consecrated woman from Christi. So it was a smaller group, but one thing I was thinking is that we, we're forming ourselves to be priests. I can't live in some fantasy world where I'm just imagining myself in front of this huge crowd and like everybody's just bowing down before my golden words while I'm preaching, and not that I actually never imagined that, but I guess I could imagine that.
It happens all the time. Whenever you open your mouth, that's pretty much what happens.
Pretty much. Everybody's just waiting to genuflect, waiting for their turn. Can I genuflect now? But no. So I was thinking, this is a small little group, and the Holy Spirit wants me to give myself completely to these people. And it doesn't make any sense at all to be worried about how many people are there. It's about serving and loving these people who are in front of me now, in this moment. And if, like you were saying, if it's a big crowd, the dynamic changes, right? Because when there's a lot of people, you can't dedicate that one-on-one time to people, like Jesus did with his small group of 12 apostles, right? That was his pastoral approach, right? So my dunque, dunque hermeneutic.
Yes.
My dunque.
We don't just do.
We dunque it.
Yes.
That's right. So my dunque was, Andrew, just love these people here, and give your best. Speak about Jesus from your heart, and God will bring good out of it. And if he wants to put it on people's hearts to more people to come on future retreats, great. If it continues to be small, even though we try to make it grow, this is the circumstance, right? Obviously, we have to be smart about how we invest our time. Like if there's not a lot of people, and if the project's just kind of like wobbling, or like an apostle that's kind of suffering, you have to be intelligent, right?
Yeah.
But the reality here in Rome is that it's the people that we serve in Upper Room. It's a smaller group, and they're American college students or young people
working.
Right, and so that group is already pretty reduced, and then so it was a beautiful retreat. And
what did some of the young people say?
So one guy texted me today, and he was very grateful. He said he was blown away by the spirit of kindness and generosity that he felt during the retreat.
And maybe that's not possible. If like 1,000 people, you just feel like
right.
You're being herded like cattle.
Yeah.
But when it's a small group, it's a family, and
exactly
you're able to live that.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but I remember this just came to me. There was a retreat when we were in our second year. You were over there in Ireland.
And I was in Cheshire,
Connecticut. And we ran this retreat. We ended up having it was like 110 people came.
Was this Ignition?
There were 3 buses. It was like, one of the first years of Ignition. It was called GPS still.
GPS. God's Plan for Your Soul.
God's Plan for Your Soul.
Okay.
By Justin Keelhorn.
That's a
shout out.
Name.
And but we had 110 people coming. And there were all these little details, like as always, that weren't figured out yet. But we still had 6 hours or whatever they're on their way.
Yeah.
So I remember knocking on the rector's door, Father Christopher, who's now a rector here in Rome.
Yeah.
I had a whole list of things. I'm going to ask him this, and this to make sure we're all set.
Yeah.
And right as I'm about to go to knock, I look out the window, and up this long driveway of Cheshire comes 2 buses.
Oh my gosh.
They arrived super early without telling us. And that's about 80 people arriving. Before, like, there's all these things that I would love to have ironed out to make sure things go smoothly. And so I kind of started to panic.
Sounds like Martha.
Father Christopher opens the door. Yeah, exactly. And I remember I had this, and it has to be the Holy Spirit, but I remember just thinking to myself, okay, don't panic. But look, you don't worry about saying the right thing to each of these people. Don't worry about grabbing the microphone and being super clear and so that there's no chaos. Just be Jesus. Yeah. This whole weekend, your job is to be Jesus.
I love that. That's great.
And I was so happy.
Yeah.
I didn't have stress.
Yeah.
I remember just kind of what you were saying, like the testimonies of some of the guys at the end. Like, so the last dinner, it's with all the brothers in the seminary, and they all talk about their experience, and it's amazing what they get out of it. Yeah. Like I can have my idea of I wanted to give them this talk and make sure that they went home with this idea. Right. And they go home just blown away by the charity, or blown away by the fact that we have so much food that we put on the table every day. But deeper things as well.
The spirit, yeah.
And so it's not necessarily us. It's not us. Yeah. God's a protagonist. He knows why 6 came rather than 60.
Right. And he chooses to inspire people in ways that we can't foresee. And we can't control that process.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's how I think he works in our lives as well.
Yeah.
That's how it worked in my life.
Yeah.
So it's through one word of this person or whatever, and
yeah. Well, so that was a Christmas retreat, the Ignition, and I talked about my Advent retreat. I think we need to talk about like Advent. Like, we just started it.
And actually, before we get to these Advent-ations,
man. We need to copyright that.
Yes. Maybe the first Advantageous Adventation could just be the importance of prayer, because so I've been praying using the passage of Martha and Mary and the death of Lazarus.
Oh man.
And
let's see, that's John 11.
Yes.
Very
nice.
good. See?
Catholics know
the Bible,
And so because during this 40 weeks, this group that I have with some of the brothers, we meet once a week and we talk about each chapter of this book. Corresponding to each week for this 40-week journey.
Mm-hmm.
The theme that's constantly coming up for me is the word powerlessness.
Okay.
And how powerlessness actually becomes our strength. Something I was struggling with. And praying about this passage of Martha and Mary, it hit me that powerlessness can become our superpower.
Okay.
Because Martha and Mary can't bring Lazarus back. In fact, he's been dead, he smells, he's in the cave.
4 days.
4 days.
Yeah.
And there's nothing they can do. There's no way, no science, nothing can bring him back. What ends up bringing him back are the tears of Martha and Mary, but especially Mary when she comes and she's crying. And Jesus is perturbed. He's angry at the situation. But because of her tears, because of her powerlessness, he's moved. Yeah. And he says, okay, where is he?
Yeah.
And brings Lazarus back from the dead.
Yeah.
And so if we think, I can't run this retreat with this many people, or I'll never be a good priest because I get distracted in my prayer or whatever.
Or being a good mom or dad. Or I need to have the perfect situation, or the house is dirty.
I think maybe this Advent, the first thing we can say is, hey, recognize we're not super. Yeah. We're not Superman, Superwoman. Yeah. We're not the Avengers.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Endgame is just a movie. In real life, I don't have those awesome superpowers. Yeah. I can't shoot webs out of my hands. Yeah. But I do have the superpower of my powerlessness. Yeah. That I can go to Jesus in tears and know that his heart will be moved. Yeah. None of us have this problem, but even if I need someone raised from the dead, like this afternoon, that could happen. Yeah. Not because of me, but because of
it does happen. People do come back from clinical death. Yeah.
Actually, it does.
They're miracles. People have invoked saints, and it happens.
And the small miracles or big miracles that you need in your life right now, that we need in our lives. Yeah. We can go to Jesus. This Advent is a time of
showing our powerlessness.
Yes. Okay, so Advantageous Advent-ations.
Yes.
1 was prayer. 2
is...
What do you got for us, Andrew?
2 is... Okay, I really feel strongly about this one, Brother Luke. So I should preface this by saying I'm not a party pooper.
No, I did not.
Okay, I am not a party pooper.
He organizes board games.
I love partying.
All the time.
I love partying.
Catan and...
So, no pooping at my parties. Okay. All
right.
But I do
TGIFF, TMI.
Exactly, TMI.
Okay.
But I would say that I feel strongly about not anticipating the full joy of Christmas too soon.
What does that mean?
Not anticipating the full joy of Christmas too soon. Let me give an example. So, let's say I have, some families that are listening to us back home in the States, they send us, peanut butter and Reese's Pieces. Like, say they send us a package for Christmas. Just a random example. If I open that in my room and start eating all the peanut butter, the Reese's Pieces and the different assortments of American candies that they packed for us and sent, for Christmas. If I open that and eat all those, right when I get them, I deprive myself of enjoying them over a longer period of time, right? Or to use another example, if I want to watch, if I'm planning a trip somewhere. And let's say I've always wanted to go to Norway. Let's say I'm planning this trip to Norway.
Wasn't there a girl at the retreat yesterday from Norway?
Exactly, yeah. Okay. So that was cool. But anyway, so let's say I'm planning to go to Norway, and I find out everything I can about Norway, and I
Google Map
everything.
Inch.
Yeah, exactly. And I read all these books and everything, to be informed, and I'm sort of depriving myself of. Now, on the one hand, you want to be prepared for a trip, right? But on the other hand, I'm sort of depriving myself of the experience of when it comes.
Or even if you have a book, no one would ever do this because it doesn't make any sense. But we do it maybe in this context of Advent.
Yeah.
You buy the newest book.
Yeah.
And you go immediately to the last chapter and read the end because you can't wait.
Yeah. Exactly.
No one does that.
Yeah.
Because you enjoy it more.
Exactly.
Starting from the introduction, chapter 1.
Yeah.
Getting the whole story, and the whole time you're anticipating.
The climax is building.
And it's builds, and there's twists and turns.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you finally get to that, close to the end chapter, and it's like, oh, this is amazing.
And it's been weeks, and you've been living with his characters.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a better example than what I was saying. Yeah, exactly. Nothing's
better than peanut butter, but...
Well, that was pretty good. We'll see what happens, right? But, so I would say...
If you have to decide between sending us a book and peanut butter...
No, obviously the latter. But, so I would say that our joy is greater when we put the brakes on joy. So, if a big tendency in today's culture is to, especially when Christmas, is just to go ahead quick to like all the Christmas parties, put all the lights up already, listen to Christmas music already. I know Brother Vin Pham, shout out to Brother Vin Pham, likes Christmas music, and I know he likes to listen to it immediately.
But you can't do that during Advent? Are you, that what you're saying?
We're not going to give any hard fast rules.
Okay.
Everybody has to discern. Like
Advantageous, advantageous is all about principles.
Exactly.
Okay.
The principle that I'm trying to, after all this, blah that I'm saying, is don't anticipate the full joy of Christmas yet, because if you start living the intense joys of Christmas from the beginning of Advent, then when Christmas comes, your joy will have already been at a high, right? And so it won't be able to go higher. Whereas if you say, okay, I know Christmas is coming, but I'm going to go deeper into the mystery of why the world needs a Messiah, the hopes of the Jewish people wanting a Messiah to come, and I go through that little by little. Maybe we'll have some practical tips.
Using the first readings, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's another advantageous.
Advantageous number 3 related to number 2.
Exactly is using the first reading at Mass. For your
it's all strategic. The church, our mother, leading us through the liturgical year. Happy New Year, right?
That's right.
It's also liturgical.
Happy New Year.
That's right. New Year, yeah. We're just at the beginning here. It is. The readings aren't random.
That's right.
So. The first reading is, like Brother Andrew was saying, are a way to prepare our hearts for the coming of the Messiah. And we all know the story.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say, well, I've already read the last chapter of that book.
Yeah.
I've already devoured the Reese's Pieces. But
yeah.
You can, every year, it's like, it's a new...
He comes in grace.
Yeah.
That's a new coming
and
that isn't
grace
the same.
is new.
Yeah.
God is an eternal present.
Yeah.
So there's not like, I already had the idea that God came and saves me, and that was great last year, but now it's like, now what?
No, because every year, you're different. And one priest who I really admire, he's a priest in the seminary, Father David Abad.
Oh, yes.
Father David Abbott.
My spiritual director. Is he your spiritual director?
No, he's not. But I sometimes go to him for confession.
Yeah.
Every time he preaches, it's always like he's very quiet when he preaches.
Yes.
And it almost sounds like his words are just anointed. I don't know. Or like he's in a spiritual ecstasy. I don't know. I always pay attention to him whenever he preaches. But he said once in
we should always pay attention to whoever's preaching, but okay,
exactly. Yeah, we should always pay attention. Yeah, exactly. But he said once in a talk that every year, when every time you get to Advent or Lent or Easter or whatever, you're always different from the year before, because you're slowly going up a mountain, and it's like going up a mountain in like a spiral. Like you're sometimes you can't tell that you're advancing, but you are. And you're slowly getting higher and higher. Through life you mature little by little, and you see things from a different perspective. And so our being where we are right now is a little bit higher, God willing, than last year. And so we shouldn't say, Advent again, Christmas again, same thing. Well, no, you're different, hopefully.
And I would even say too that our whole life is like going up this mountain, and Advent, Lent, and these these very concentrated moments of grace.
Yeah.
Like, if you take advantage, it's like putting on a jetpack. And instead of having to walk, this is really tiring, walk up this mountain, it's like, just, I don't know, pull the cord and let the jetpack do the work. Let God's grace just blow you up that mountain.
Yeah.
Like, give you a burst of...
Yeah. That's what St. Therese said. Like, what she said with, I don't know,
I love St. Therese.
Did she say it in reference to her littleness? Was like getting on an elevator.
Yeah, exactly.
And just going up.
She found the elevator, and when Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are tired, labor, and burdened."
Yeah.
And I think it was that context.
Okay.
But that idea that, hey, like, I know if you're weak and powerless, come to me and I'll pick you up. Yeah. And so if you want to go to Jesus, the best way to go to Jesus is that have him pick us up.
Yeah.
And I think to keep, I have this idea for my, so I'm have these kids getting ready for confirmation.
Okay. Yeah.
So every Sunday we'll go to them. And so we're going to try this thing during Advent, the lock screen competition.
Oh, yeah.
And so everyone on their phone, I think for these kids, it's probably like a soccer player or maybe they're themselves, a picture with themselves and their best friend or their mom or family. Or you just have a beautiful background, right? Yeah. And so during the Advent, we're going to have each of them kind of do a competition. Every week you have to come with a new lock screen that has something to do with Christmas. Advent, the theme of Christmas or Advent. And they can design it however they want. They can make it as custom made as they want, or they can just find an image on Google that they like. Yeah. But put it as their lock screen, the background of their phone. And every week has to change. And I'm hoping that it's something we all have our phones with us all the time. Yeah. And like it's maybe not the best thing, but if you're gonna have your phone with you all the time, might as well every time you turn it on, be reminded, I'm in Advent. Yeah. And put like a motivational word or phrase on there. Yeah. So like this would be Prince of Peace or whatever it is. Okay. That's gonna help you. This is what I'm excited about on December 24th, 25th.
Yeah. So this would be, just to be clear, Advantation number 4?
Number 4, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
So lock screen competition. Make your lock screen an Advent-themed lock screen. Okay. And if you have a really good one, share it on our Facebook page.
One thing that I like to do, I totally agree with you. I right now, actually, I have an image. I need to change it. I have an image of Christ the King. But I need to change it to... each week of Advent, that's a good one. I find, because of the Advent, our future Advantation, talking about the wreath, right? Yes. But I always pick an image during Advent of a wreath. In the first week of Advent, I find an image of where one candle is lit.
There you go.
And then the second week, 2, and etc. until the fourth. And then the third week of Advent, you have Gaudete Sunday.
Pink.
When the priest wears pink. And I remember Father Zachary Dominguez, the big tough.
Of course.
His first mass was on Gaudete Sunday, so he wore a pink chasuble. Like big tough.
Which is not his personality, but it shows you don't like.
It was really funny.
God's will first, even for even true toughness and true manliness. Is saying yes to God's will no matter what, even if it's wearing
a pink chasuble. So every week I change it according to and there's tons of images. There's tons of images on Google, or you could make it a nativity scene.
Or walking in the desert, the journey that Mary and Joseph are doing right now. Yeah, whatever it is, towards Bethlehem. Okay, Advantation number 5 is. So you said wreaths. I was thinking major scene, but I had breakfast with a family from our catechism class. It was very nice that they had us over for breakfast. We had an Italian style Naples. They live in Rome, but they're originally both of the husband and wife from Naples. Yeah. Every year in their house in Naples, the father and the son build a nativity scene in their living room. But it's not just they build a nativity scene; they add to it every year. And they were excited to tell me this year we're planning on adding the sky. They're gonna add like the stars and the main star and all the blue. Yeah. But they had videos of their nativity scene, and it's amazing because they go through and there's all these little details that they themselves have worked with their hands. Right. And they have their whole living room becomes the woodwork shop. Okay. And they have saws out and things, and they're cutting these little pieces. Yeah. Making the houses. Yeah. They said there's 2 people that can't be missing in the. Well, there's probably a few more, but can't be missing in a nativity scene. Jesus, obviously. Right, yeah. It's also on him. Yeah. And then the drunk guy. And this is Napoli style nativity scenes because you have a bunch of different figures. Like you have the lady carrying a big pot on her head of whatever, I think it's bread. You have the guy selling chestnuts.
A pot of bread.
Gotcha. A basket. There you go. And whatever it is, I don't know if it's
folks. Go grab your pots of bread immediately.
Everyone's going right on their head right now.
I always have a pot of bread in my room.
But there's also this guy with wine celebrating Christmas. Okay. But he's a little bit gone. He's a little. Okay. He's a little tipsy. Okay. But he's in every. If it's a nativity scene and it's a true nativity scene of Napoli. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's got to have the guy.
The drunk guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So that's like a tradition that they have.
A tradition that he said his dad did it with him and all of his brothers and sisters. Now all his brothers and sisters do it with their kids. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. They're excited. I can't wait for Advent because that's when we start building our nativity scene.
Oh,
and then the
cool.
mom's like, oh no, that's when I lose my living room. But they're excited about it.
So it's like this huge, like kind of like a life-size type of thing?
So the one in the dad's house is gigantic. The one in their living room right now fits on your...
So you ate there and you saw it?
No, because it's their house in Naples.
Oh, okay.
But eventually, I think it's going to take over their whole house.
Okay.
The Gabriele, the son, was already saying, can't we put it on like the kitchen table this year because it's bigger?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's where I draw the line. But so there you go, like some type of tradition, whether it's manger scenes, whether it's
because then you like desire to do it, and you're thinking about it. It puts you in a dynamic of like, oh, next year, and like it's something that you build every year.
Yes. And so that's what Advent's about: building anticipation, but not spoiling it.
Not living the full joy yet.
Adventation number 2.
Exactly, so. Number 2. And I don't like putting the baby. This is just me. I don't like putting the baby Jesus from the beginning of Advent.
Of course not.
Who does that?
You can't do that.
It's illegal.
You can put the drunk guy.
Exactly, but not the baby Jesus. You put the baby Jesus on the 24th in the evening.
Exactly. After midnight mass, if you'd like, or at least after the evening hour.
After Vespers.
That's so right. We can talk about that next time. You want? Any last Adventations before we...
Advantageous. There's so many of them, Brother Luke.
A brother was telling me he's going to grab a book that he likes. I can't remember the name of the author, but just any book on the life of Christ and focusing on this time of the birth of Jesus.
Yes.
Could help. Just
Fulton Sheen, who's going to be beatified on December 21st, I believe.
Okay, that's
so if you want to prepare for if you like Fulton Sheen, if you've watched some of his stuff, he's written, I don't know how many books he's written. I'm sure he's written. I haven't read a lot of them.
I think it's in the 90s. To tell you the truth, I remember reading that.
The 90s.
Like he's written 90 something.
Oh, 90 something. Okay. Yeah. So he's probably written in his book about the life of Christ, the classic book that we've read.
Oh, that's so good.
He has chapters on the birth of Jesus, on the incarnation. Those are worth reading. I think maybe I want to do that.
That's a good idea. I might do that too, because especially guy he's eating beatified. So maybe it's his gift. Like, hey, focus on
Sheen.
Focus on Sheen.
Yeah, it could be God. Maybe God wants us to. Yeah, he's written a lot, and there's a lot to learn from him. But I remember an advantation. Number 6.
Number 6
is about poverty.
Okay.
Poverty.
So we have the vow of poverty.
That's right.
But not everyone has the vow of poverty, Brother Andrew.
That's right. But poverty is a virtue to which we're all called. The gospel of poverty. Okay. So
agree.
Let me explain. So sometimes like, we're always a little uncomfortable around somebody who's homeless, right? We go on the street, we're walking through a big city, see somebody who's homeless, you kind of like turn the eye and you don't pay attention. So one thing that I noticed that about myself, and one thing that I wanted to, I was like, that's not good. That's not good. You shouldn't allow that to be acceptable. Something needs to change about it.
Yeah, because Christ is, it's very obvious in the Gospels and in the saints that you go up to those people. St. Francis kissed the leper.
That's right.
Mother Teresa is another example.
Yeah. Oh, she's amazing.
So.
Yeah, and so because Jesus identified with the poor, right? Born in a stable, etc. Poverty could be a really cool virtue to think about for Advent. And one practical thing relating to homeless is to talk to somebody who's homeless whenever you see him. One thing that I did here when I got to Rome a year ago, I decided, you know what? God's called me to be a priest. I need to be available for everybody. And so I started a little friendship with these. Right before we get to St. Peter's Square, we get off the train and we go under this bridge, and there's always the same group of guys from Poland, actually, and they all have names that start with K. It's interesting.
Casper,
Carol, Christoph, and Kamil.
Yes, exactly.
Kamil.
Exactly.
So you know him too. So these guys they're always there, and I try to talk to them a little bit, and to touch their hands and like be close to them and not be concerned about well, who knows when the last time they took a shower or whatever. No, be close to them physically, and that's made me freer. That's made me freer because I'm not. I mean, every now I always have to refresh the batteries, right?
Yes, exactly.
And
sometimes you're in a hurry, so then it's The question of, okay, well, am I late for my appointment, or do I talk to these people?
Yeah, and it's not
make it quick.
It's not a sin if you just
Exactly.
It's not if you just keep on going. But you should have the desire in your heart to be close to people who are poor.
And even if you feel the opposite of a desire, if you feel repulsion or feel aversion,
right?
Just the will to I want to help this person. My life, I complain about it, but it's pretty fantastic compared to some other people.
Exactly.
So
and that's a golden opportunity, I think, for to live advantageously.
Okay, so number 6, like some type of homeless mission. With your family, why not?
Go out and
exactly. I know when Brother Andrew and I were both in Washington D.C., Panera would just they're willing to give all the restaurant chain. They're willing to give all the bread and pastries that they didn't sell that day because they can't sell them the next day. Because you just don't do that. If you want fresh pastries every day,
don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So so you can go grab like trash bags full of this stuff. And it's free, and you can get it out. Exactly.
Yeah.
But okay, and then next time we'll be talking. We can talk to you about the song that Brother Andrew wants to plan.
That's right.
Mary, did you know?
Did you know that your baby boy would one day rule the... Okay, we have to work on that.
Yeah, so we'll be bringing that to you soon.
Exactly. But we're gonna record that.
So send us your lock screens on our Facebook page. Just TGIFF on Facebook. You can find us.
Exactly.
Or Brother Andrew Torrey, Brother Luke Rowicki.
Let us know of any other advantageous that you have.
Exactly. So send us your advantageous advantations.
Yeah, and please pray for us too, because we want to live Advent well.
Yes, and don't just do.
Dunque.
God bless you.
God bless you. Good. That was good.
Mary, did you know?